three homes. And Juan's going to talk to us about a lot of opportunity into investing. Okay. Juan.
Thank you, Joe. You can load it for me. Thank you. So earlier, Joe was mentioning about going into hair salon or nail salons to promote some of your business. It's funny is that my wife is also in the beauty industry. So she promoted me there, and actually I got a few deals, investment deals. One commercial plaza actually come from the nail salon. So always promote yourself, okay? So today I'm going to talk about real estate investments. There's a lot of arenas in the real estate side of it. There's property management, there's commercial sides, there's lending side, and so forth. So just like Anjo was saying earlier, is that you gotta pick a niche that you specialize in. For me, especially, I've been in industry for 18 years. Retail market, I've done it, but I'm very fascinated into the investment side. So hopefully I'm gonna give you some few nuggets on the investments and so forth. Me and MayMay runs Sacramento Real Estate Investor Group. We try to organize investor comes in, talks about real estate investment and so forth. So hopefully the next events, you guys will sign up. There is a Facebook page of it, so you guys can come in and add as well. So let me see this clicker moving forward. So 2 ideas that I'm gonna let you guys know is how to analyze deals, well, flip-wise, and where to find deals. That's 2 big decisions on the investment side. When you have a deal that comes in, you want to know where is it profitable, right? And where to find the deals is important. So one recent one that we just did, me and MayMay, my business partner here, one back. So we just did one in Fair Oaks, just closed yesterday. This is the before photos and then the after photos. So it turned out great. Here's the numbers behind it. So with acquisitions, meaning the buy price, we bought it for $570. Renovation is $70,000. Carrying costs, points, escrow, title, and so forth. $20,000. We sold it for $765 within a month and a half. Right. So there's return in any industries in the real estate market. But to get this kind of return in a month and a half is great. Right. So you just need to find the niche that you want to be in, and really take it and run. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and analyze this deal, or the formula, how we go about of doing it, right? So you want to start at the top. What top mean? Just a raise of a hand, who knows what ARV is? Okay, I don't want to make it hard on you guys. So ARV stands for after repair value, meaning in nerd terms, what is your comparable market analysis? Just like same. So ARV minus margin, I always take a 20% margin on the property. Minus your rental, which is your renovations, minus your carrying costs, and that is your net offer. Okay? So let's do the math. Very simple. Example, you have an ARV, which is your CMA, at $300,000, your margin is 60. This is how much you're hoping to get a return, 60,000, right? Your renovations is 65,000. Your carrying costs, your points, mortgage payments, escrow, utilities, etc. So your net offer is 155. So you go back to your seller and say, hey, you know what? For this property, this is what I'm going to offer at 155 for your subject properties. We know if I were to offer at this price or lower than this price, I know when I'll make a margin of 60,000 or higher, right? So regarding to the market, the way it is right now is you want to be safe. The reason why I say safe, because the market is really changing. You got to have enough cushion if there's a change in the market. Let's say, for example, the buyer decided to give you let's call it, ask for a credit, for example, 5,000, 10,000. So that means your margin is gonna go down, right? So to be honest, at 20% margin, right now with the current market, I wouldn't even take it. The reason why is because the market is changing so fast, right? Kelly, you have a question, sorry.
The said your carrying costs include
Commissions?
commission?
Yes. So this here is offset with the carrying cost. Usually I budget at 5% commissions and so forth. Yeah. So that has to be accounted as well. So there's carrying costs when you buy the properties, and there's carrying costs when you sell the properties, escrow titles and so forth. So your net offer is 155, right? So let's just do an example. This was presented to me a while back. So this property is close to Valley High area on Hollyhurst, not 823. So the assignment means someone went out there, secured the contract, and bring it back to me and say, hey, Tuan, this is how much I'm selling it to you for, 250, right? So I ran my ARV, and I know that if I were to renovate the properties, I'm gonna able to get this property at 418. My margin, you remember the 20% that I mentioned to you guys? My margin is at least minimum 83,600. Okay? My rental, I'm budgeting. So my partner and I, we go into the property and we say, hey, this is how much the rental is going to cost. 45,000, and carrying cost 21. When carrying cost meaning commissions and so forth. This is how much I'm able to offer for. 268 minimum. But they give it to me 250. So I'm making an extra $10,000 on top of it. Now you guys got the idea, right? So it's important is the number has to work. If it doesn't work, don't take it. Just because you want to do a deal, okay? Because at one point where you don't want to do a deal because you want to do deals, you're going to get burned. That's just reality. Because a lot of people that I see in the real estate investment industry is that they see this fix and flip channels on TV and say, hey, I'm ready to do, flip this home, the one of the channel. But it's not that easy. Mathematically is that, but it's not that easy. So if you were to be in the industry of investments, always want to run the numbers first to make sure it's profitable, that you have enough cushions in order for you to take the deal. So that's one part. So where to find the deals? This is what the area that we're going to be in. May you want to share anything?
Well, what I want to say is basically when I got into the investment part is basically it's just not finding the deal. It's basically, from last year when I did the investments and from this year when I did the investments, we actually calculated numbers, and because the market changed, the number of the cost of even the material have gone up. So basically, you really have to justify, depends on the market. When you're looking at deals, you have to see where the market is going. It's really kind of dangerous actually doing some investment at this moment, but we're actually, testing the lines right now. So basically last year when we did a deal, the number worked out really well, but this, we didn't really, we kind of learned something, but our number kind of dropped because of the cost, the material cost. So that's why we have to, suggest you need to have some cushions. At least have the 20%, but you need to have some cushions in terms you want to go through the investments. But if you do find like certain, later we're gonna, show you where to find deals. But if you do find deals, you can always contact and let us know like what deal you have, what number you have. Should we even move forward? Do you want to partners? And that way, at least you have the experience. At least you have, the backup to be able to help you on deals, because it's quite dangerous if you don't know and you have no experience and you go through it.
Also, thank you, May, for that important information. Like what May says is that Fair Oaks, we were budgeting only $45,000 in renovation costs with the material. But before picket fence, those fence posts, they're only $2.50. How much they're now? They're close to $5.50 a piece. So material has gone up a lot lumber-wise, right? So I just want to share some of the ideas where we get deals. is these are the 6 items that we attract, but majority of it comes from here. So you guys are in real estate industry. You guys know what wholesale or wholesaler means? So wholesaler is basically this in a nutshell. May is a wholesaler, right? May goes to Steven and say, hey, Steven, do you have a house for sale? So May secure a contract with Steven for $100,000, for example. And it may come to me and say, hey, Mr. Tuan, I would like to sell this contract to you for $115,000. I run my numbers, I say, hey, this house is worth at least $250,000. She gave me the contract for $115,000, and I'm gonna sell it for $250,000. So I'm paying her $15,000, she's paying the seller $100,000. So basically she's the middleman, right? So that's what wholesalers do. So they go out, they find a contract, they make the spread in the middle in order for them to make a margin. You guys got that? But with this said, so here's some of the lists on the wholesaler we get. Sac Wholesale, Sundays is another popular website. So anything that you see hits the market is no longer margin. I mean, margin means profitable, right? When you hit the MLS, it's basically they're already taking the meat off the bone. There's only bone left, right? So ultra spec properties through wholesale, and another one is Investor Lift. So Investor Lift is a website that's a lot of wholesaler goes in and put it there. So if these are some of the people that actually come call you personally and say, hey, these are some of the deals that's available, right? So if you look at there, 702 Smalley Way, that was presented by Sac Wholesale, and then that is the price that they signed it for. So when you get this kind of data and say, hey, this is how much we're signing to you, then you say, okay, how much is my rental, how much is my ARV, and is my carrying cost. And you figure all that out and it's profitable, and you take it, right? So that's what the wholesaler do. They just go out, secure the contract, send it back to the investor buys it, and close out contract. Now, keep in mind that escrow does not do double escrow. Double escrow means when you have 2 escrow at the same time, trying to close at the same time, and it is illegal. Only way it's not legal is both seller or both buyer needs to be aware of what's going on. Let's say Steven is the end seller. If he knows that I'm going to be able to sell it for $250 in the future, I mean, he's okay with it, and you say, I'm fine with $100,000, then escrow will close on it. You will need a special escrow company that will do double escrow, basically. Bird dog. You guys know what a bird dog is? just a test. Any taker? So a bird dog is basically some individual that you hired for a fixed fee. For example, I have an agreement with May, and I said, May, any property you bring to me, I'll give you $10,000, a flat fee. Or I can say, May, you be my employee, I'll pay you, $15 an hour just to find me deals, right? So those are called bird dog. They go out, they get the contract. I'm the end investor, buying directly from the seller. It's no longer going through the middleman. That's what bird dog do. Okay, that's the big difference between a bird dog and a wholesaler. You guys got that? Okay. So there's this one gal. Her name is Karen, down in San Francisco. She always gives me a deal from the Sacramento region, and flat fee. Whether I make $100,000, $50,000, $200,000, $1 million, I always pay her $5,000. And every time that she brings it, I pay her straight out. You want to comment anything?
So one thing is you have to make sure that you work with a good title rep. Not all title rep the same, because investments, you have to work with a title rep that is specialized in investments. Because I've been through a couple, and Tuan actually worked with certain ones that can be able to pull certain record for you fast enough to actually find the property backgrounds and be able to see it before you actually purchase a deal, because you don't have time to actually look through all the backgrounds and purchase. You only have an hour to purchase the property. So if you have a contact, they say, hey, this is the deal, you only have about 30 minutes or hours to even make a decision, so you don't even be able to see the property. So make sure that you can contact the title rep, say, hey, this is the address, pull up everything, pull up the prelims, and you make a decision and purchase that right away.
What do you guys use as a title rep?
One more time, Manny.
What do you guys use for title?
So because Fidelity National Title has all my documents, my LLC, it's best to go with the title company you work familiar with already. But I use Fidelity National Title. Mayor Medina. Yeah, she's good. The only thing is, the reason why you want to go back to the same title company is that every time when you buy a piece of properties, you want to do a binder. Who knows what a binder is in escrow? So a binder is basically it's another policy that the title company buys for you, and later when you sell the properties, the seller, the escrow company will give you a discount on the title insurance. Every time when you transfer something, or especially real estate, you have to have a title insurance. So my title insurance is going to be lower when I sell it. So, for example, the Fair Oaks that we close, we have a credit of $1,100. So that $1,100, when you buy a binder, the binders will offset some of the costs for your escrow fees. You guys got that? So, always get a binder. By the way, it's cheaper. So that's the difference between a bird dog and a wholesaler. Okay. So this is another avenue that a lot of investors will partner up as well. You guys, real estate agents, right? Sometimes you guys have pocket listings that you don't want to put on the market, or you feel like, you know what, Investor Tuan is able to perform. Why put it on open market when he's able to perform, close fast, no questions asked, right? So every time we get a deal, we look at the numbers and review the properties, we close within 5-7 days or less, right? Because we can perform. You want to work with investors that are willing and able to perform, right? So if you guys need a loan, and Joe is here ready to give you guys a loan as an investor as well. So working with a real estate investor is very helpful locally. So we want to make sure that real estate presence in your local community is very important. Okay. The other avenue is MLS. So earlier I was mentioning that MLS doesn't have any margin. Of course, they don't. Majority of the time they don't. But a good, I would say 1 to 3% does. Sometimes buyers just don't want to buy, but you have a different avenue of doing it, right? So sometimes, like for example, there's a piece of properties that was on Sacramento Boulevard on, I believe it's called, past on Sacramento Boulevard, there's a piece of properties that used to have 3 properties on one lot, right? One of them has been demolished, and then 2 of them is still standing, it's dilapidated, and there's tenants in there. I look at the zoning is called RD20. Who knows the difference between RD20 and RD1? That's something you guys need to learn too, okay? So, different, question?
Is it residential development?
Well, so the difference between RD1 or RD20, so every acre you can build 20 units, right? So RD1 you can build 1 unit. So that's a big difference, right? So I look at the potential and say, hey, there's 3 units on this parcel. One of them is already been taken down. There's 2 left, and it's zone RD20. I can put another 17 more units on here, based on a 1 acre lot, and they only selling for $490. Nobody sees it because they don't look at the zoning part. They always think that, okay, if I were to, fix it and then I were to rehab it and put it on open market, there's no margin for that. But if you think outside the box a little bit and say, hey, you know what? There's potential in here because construction-wise, you put multifamily here, you make more money. But the cost is higher, right? Because now you're building instead of just, putting paint and flooring in the properties. So multiple listing is also important. As a real estate investor, you want to check it daily, or you have your agents. it's very funny is even though I'm an agent and I run my own brokerage, I have partnered with other real estate agents that bring me deals that before they even hit the market and say, hey Tuan, might be a potential. So sometimes I look at it and say, you know what, this doesn't have margin, or this is not profitable, this is not, it is profitable. So I'll let the agent know directly, say, hey, you know, it's best if your seller want at this price, they have a better chance of putting it on open market. Right? So MLS is another ways to get properties. Auction, right? So during the 2007, 2008, when the Lehman Brothers, who knows Lehman Brothers? Brandon knows, okay. So Lehman, Joe. So Lehman Brothers was the first mortgage company that filed for bankruptcy during the mortgage meltdown, right? The cycle when everybody's losing their pants and shirt, right? So a lot of homes got foreclosed. So we were at the court step. So court step is basically another term for buying foreclosure at the court. So we were there just bidding away. When you have like 20, 30 homes, you don't need to fight for properties because everybody gets one at the end of the day. Nowadays, there's one property for 20 agents for them, or 20 investors. So they drive the price up. So auction is another way to acquire properties. And another way to acquire properties is tax liens. Has anyone knows or the website to go into tax liens, for example? The Sacramento County? So every year, Sacramento County has a tax lien, and anybody that default on their property tax and they can't afford to pay it, you come in, you buy the property as a tax lien as well. So that's another avenue. But auction is also good. Back in the days, foreclosure radar was very popular. And then the foreclosure radar, they give you real-time information where the property is up for auctions or it's been postponed.
Can I make a quick comment real quick?
Yeah.
Brian used to work for a company that buys only from the auction, and there was an agent. When you buy from an auction, you want to do your BPO, right? But there was an agent that was too lazy to go to a property to look before he purchased. He did it on Google, what was it? Whatever. Google Maps. And he saw the home and he identified it. They ended up buying it. The next day after they purchased it, they went out to see the house. The house was actually burnt down. So it's really important to, when you buy at an auction, you actually have to go see the property, do your PPO, and not do Google Maps, because Google Maps can be kind of outdated.
Yes, what Kelly says is true, because you really want to walk the property. As a foreclosure, you cannot enter the properties because, you know, either someone's living there still or tenants still living there. But of course, I would highly recommend walking the properties. Any project, you want to walk the properties, right? You want to make sure it's good standing, because Google Map is probably like 1 or 2 years or 5 years outdated. like what Kelly says, it might be burnt down, you don't know of. So that's a good point. Any questions? I know that was quick, and maybe you want to make any comments on what we talked about in real estate investment. Yeah, good. Any questions, you guys? I know I went out really fast. So what May says earlier is true. If anything that, any deals or any listing you feel like, you know what, an investor is better for this property because it's either run down, molded, fired, flooded, whatever it might be, we buy them all. Okay, as long as the number works out, that's all that matters. Okay. Well, thank you for your time. Really appreciate it. Hopefully you got some information out of it. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you so much, Tuan.